What is going on, everyone? Welcome into Big Time Football Talk. So I want to get straight to it. Let's talk about the New York Football Giants. They started last season 0-2, opened up with a division loss to the Dallas Cowboys and a home loss to the Buffalo Bills. And then the whole Eli thing was over at that point. Eli Manning kind of just dragged this thing on too long. It kind of was ridiculous. Very impressive, all the consecutive starts without an injury and whatnot, but the Giants headed into a different direction with Daniel Jones. Reeled off a couple wins after that against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and also the Washington Redskins. But it turns to find out the Redskins were just horrible. But when I assess Daniel Jones, he's a guy that really needs to work on his turnovers. I mean, this guy just fumbled the ball constantly. There was a game. Who was it against? There's a game they were in. The Arizona game they were in, and he had a crucial fumble. I think it was against the Jets. I mean, he's just got to clean that up. But that's what's going to help that is they drafted Andrew Thomas. They also brought in Matt Pearte, a offensive tackle from UConn. Andrew Thomas was, I think, the best offensive tackle in this draft. Excuse me, but so. This will help getting him a better offensive tackles because Daniel Jones, just like a lot of those were just kind of like guys coming in with their arm rapid and knocking the ball out. Yeah, the other one was against Khalil Mack, came around the edge and just chopped the ball out. So they need to get better play at the offensive line position. That's Dave Gettleman takes a lot of heat, but I think he's got somewhat of a plan here. They keep improving on the offensive line. They needed to help Eli Manning. Eli Manning was just struggling, but the problem with Eli Manning was becoming more and more of an obsolete quarterback. I mean, the guy just could not scramble. He just wasn't. Scrambling wasn't his thing. He's just not a very, very mobile quarterback. So. At the wide receiver position, they've improved a little bit. Darius Slayton was a guy that emerged a little bit. You got Sterling Shepard there. You got some capable guys. Evan Ingram is a tight end I love. I really hope that Evan Ingram stays healthy. You also got Saquon Barkley, the best running back in football. So that's really their plan. You want to create holes for Saquon Barkley and keep Daniel Jones upright, but it looks like there's still a believer in Daniel Jones, and I think no experts have really written him off yet. I think it's too early for that, but Daniel Jones, a guy that Giants fans did not want. They booed that draft pick. They were not a fan of Daniel Jones when they drafted him, but we'll see what he could do. It's still early. A lot of people wrote off Jared Goff, and he got the right system, got better offensive line play. That was something that was crucial. They brought in Andrew Whitworth, and they brought in, when you improve the offensive line, it's just those few seconds are going to make a big difference. He's going to get an extra few seconds to throw. Not a few seconds, but extra half a second is going to make a world of a difference. It's going to be the difference between some of those, even half of those fumbles. I mean, honestly, Andrew Thomas didn't allow it. I think that I watched so many consecutive games he didn't allow a sack at Georgia. So defense, no more DeAndre Baker. We don't have to go into that. I talked about DeAndre Baker. He's an idiot, and he's done in the league. So they drafted Xavier McKinney at safety, one of the best safeties in this draft, a hard-hitting safety from Alabama, a competitor, a guy that's going to be a good complement to Jabril Peppers in a secondary that's improving. No more Janoris Jenkins, but Janoris Jenkins, a guy that his play just kind of became he kept improving. He got in the league. He had like a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Had the incident with got kicked off of Florida and then came into the Rams with something to prove after he slipped in the draft. And with the Giants, they paid him a lot of money, him and Olivier Vernon, a couple years ago back in 2015. And after that, it's just his plays kind of leveled off. So they're going to move on there. But I've had Grant Haley in the secondary, and they're trying to improve the secondary play, but they need to continue to get better at rushing the passer. I mean, they have some solid defensive players. Marcus Golden, who was a kid from Georgia, Lorenzo Carter. They're okay, but they need to just keep improving the pass rush. That's something that's key for the Giants. Also, the run defense has got to get better, but But I think this next year, it's not the year for the Giants. I think year after that, things could be looking up better. But so that's what I wanted to get to. So next up is college football players sitting out. This is kind of a disappointment to be honest. Rashad Bateman has announced he's going to not play this year. I mean, I get the risks associated with it, but, you kind of question whether these guys, what kind of competitors they really are if they're not going to play. I get college football players. They're not really taking the best precautions. College athletes aren't getting paid to, they're kind of, they should. There's people talking about they should pay him for this season, but yeah, it's too bad. The big question is, how will this affect people watching the games? It'll have an effect on me. I'll say that, because when I watch college football, that's the one thing I've really fallen in love with the game of football, is because I really love the individual matchups. Like in the NFL, I've always loved when you have Patrick Peterson versus Calvin Johnson, or you got Julio Jones versus Jalen Ramsey. I love matchups. I watch. I love. That's what is a big thing to me in football. And without the key players, that's. The NFL is a star-driven league, so if there's more stars in the NFL sitting out, like especially quarterbacks, that's going to take a huge impact on the ratings. I think college football, it's not going to be as big of an issue, but I think it's still going to be an issue. It's for me, it hurts how I feel about it. Micah Parsons, another guy that announced he's not going to do it. Caleb Farley, arguably the best cornerback in this upcoming draft. It's just too bad that they're not going to do it. It'll make you wonder how this will affect their draft stock. You're going to have obviously a smaller sample size, but Rashad Bateman, arguably the best receiver in this draft. Him and Jamar Chase, kind of, those are the two guys that always come up when you talk about the top two in the draft. But yeah, Caleb Farley, who knows? Maybe Patrick Surtain will be the first corner off the board since he's going to decide to sit out. But yeah, hopefully there isn't too many of these more guys announcing. I know Justin Fields said he's going to play, and he's said he's going to beat the brakes off of Michigan. So we'll see, obviously. And then that's the other thing. Big Ten announced their schedule today. Michigan, Ohio State play October 24th. Michigan State play 2 home games in a row, which is something they haven't done since 2013 and 2014. But, I'm excited for the all-conference Big Ten schedule because, college football, it's like if you're a fan of whatever team, sometimes you got to wait till, week 3 for them to play like a decent opponent. But so Michigan's going to get right into it with Purdue and Minnesota, and Ohio State opens with Illinois. So, and then Michigan State with Minnesota. So you're going to see those, some big Big Ten conference football games right away. I like it. And then the ACC obviously announced they're going to do 11 teams. And in the Pac-12, there's kind of like the players' strike right now. They want their demands met for to have a safe season. So something to keep in mind. But thanks for tuning in to Big Time Football Talk. Stay tuned for more of the clips from the latest. Until next time, peace.